Well, welcome back to the University of Birmingham campus for another fixture here in the men's blind football at the IBSA World Games 2023 here in Birmingham. This time it sees Japan taking on France for a place against Iran in the 5th place game tomorrow afternoon. Makes for an interesting game this. Japan and China played a decent fixture yesterday. China narrow winners in the end, and the two teams now wander out onto the field. Still dry here in Birmingham, very warm as well, which is lovely. The two teams will line up in preparation for the national anthems. It's myself and Dixie Dean on the commentary for this one, and we will hand over to the matchday announcer to take you through the anthems, I should say, of both Japan and France.
Please rise if you are able for the national anthem of Japan. Please remain standing if you are able for the national anthem of France. Nom de la patrie, le jour de gloire est arrivé. Contre nous de la tyrannie, l'étendard sanglant est levé. L'étendard sanglant est levé. Entendez-vous dans nos campagnes ces féroces soldats qui viennent jusque dans nos bras, égorger et nos compagnes. Aux armes citoyens, formez vos bataillons, marchons, marchons, qu'un sang impur abrège.
There you have it then, the two national anthems for Japan and France. Makes for an interesting fixture this one, ahead of the 5th place game tomorrow afternoon. Let's have a look at the home side then for this fixture. And the lineup for Japan. Daisuke Sato is the goalkeeper. Robert Zumi Sasaka is the number 3. Hirabayashi is the number 6. Masaki Goto, number 8. And Ryo Karamura is the number 10. The starting 5 there for Japan. Then on the bench for them, Kenya Izumi, Tomonari Kuroda, Akihito Tanaka, Kento Tori, and Yazuki Sonobe. And then the head coach there, Eiji Nakagawa, and the guide, Tomohito Ubiashi. And then your France side, and there's been a few changes to the usual starting 5. We're used to seeing Babacar Niang starting these games, as well as Tidiane Diakite, and they're both on the bench. So starting in goal, and a replacement in goal as well, in fact. Number 16, Benoit Chevroux, is the goalkeeper. Number 4, Mikhail Miguez. Number 5, Hakim Arezki. Number 8, Ivan Vanchy. Number 10, Frederic Villaroo, who of course is the danger man. The 2 I mentioned are on the bench, as well as Khalifa Yume and Martin Baron. And then the head coach, Toussaint Akpwe, and the guide, Yannick Le Colvez. And of course the danger man is in that starting 5, Dixie, with Villaroo in there. He's quite a player, isn't he? He took a bit of a battering in the game yesterday, and he was bloodied. In fact, he specks of blood across his top, and we saw him outside after the game clutching an ice pack against his face too. But he's the real main threat in this side, and somebody they rely on heavily in an attacking sense.
Yeah, he's the main man for France. He's a quality player. Very good on the ball. His dribbling is fabulous. He's got a great shot with either foot. He's been around, well, at least 20 years on the international circuit, and he still puts in as much effort as what he did when he first come onto the scene back in, I think the first time I saw him was the European Championships in Manchester, and I think it was 2002, 2003, somewhere around about that time. So yeah, he's definitely going to be a threat, and the Japanese are going to have to be aware of that, and I'm sure they are. They've all watched the videos, and the blind football world's quite small, and everyone knows everyone else, and they all know who the danger men are for either team. So he'll be a marked man for France, that's for sure. And not so much on this game for France, really. They pre-qualified for the Paralympics. So, will they be going full bore? And the side that they've put out would indicate they're not going to not going full bore, really, because they've swapped the keeper around, and it's not through performances, and swapped one of the 2 of the outfield players around as well. So I'm going to go for Japan in this one, because there's something on it for them, and they have got a slim chance of qualifying for the Paralympics. So you can be sure that they'll be going full throttle. Yeah,
and of course, if France are to progress into the 5th place game, and then they subsequently beat Iran, well, if France, in fact, what I'm trying to ask, if France do progress here, does that mean Iran, regardless of whether they win tomorrow against France, will progress as well?
I'm pretty sure, yes, that would be correct. Yeah, but that's still bearing in mind who becomes the champions of South America.
Sure, of course.
We've got the 3 pre-qualified, which is Argentina and Colombia and Brazil. If one of those 3 win the South American Championships, your premise that it would be Iran going through would be correct, I think. And I can't see any other team from South America beating Argentina, Colombia or Brazil, to be honest. So I think it's a pretty safe bet that place will come to here, and we'll have 4 qualifying teams from this competition. Just goes to show how important this competition is across the world.
It does, absolutely. The referee just checking with both sets of guides that they're happy. Japan lining up in a really attacking way. They're just going to go full throttle at this by the looks of things. And the guide behind the Japanese goal for France, Yannick Le Colvez, has a very respectful embrace with the number 1 for Japan, Daisuke Sato, who's just stretching off now as well. The 2 referees are taking their time to make sure everybody's okay and in their half of the pitch.
I think the referee closest to the stand is he's a British referee. And I believe the referee on the opposite side is Brazilian, but don't hold me to that, because I might not be right.
Lots of thumbs up. I think he's pretty much checked every person within the stand and the pitch, and everybody around it is happy to start playing. We are underway, which is fabulous. A delayed kick-off for this one, following the penalties between Iran earlier on, which sent them through to the 5th place game. Italy unlucky to miss out, but Iran was certainly the better side. Goal clearance for France, and it's with Arezki. He spreads the play towards Villaroo, who's eager to get on the ball. France in a Slightly changed kit, lighter blue colour with the white shorts and red socks. And the Japanese in almost what you would describe as Argentine colours with the light blue but mainly white strip from head to toe. And a chance for Japan as well, an early good chance for them through Hirabayashi, but he's straight at the goalkeeper Chevroux, who couldn't wait to get that out to Arezki at the earliest opportunity there. And now France come forward, but it's straight back into Japanese hands, just on the edge of the centre circle. The captain takes it forward for them. Kawamura, he spreads the play to the left-hand side. Hirabayashi picks it up, right on the offensive third for Japan, but he's wrestled off the ball by a French player, and then Villaroo looks to spread the play to the left-hand side. Good run down that left kickboard by the number 8 for France, Wanshi. But he is forced backwards into the middle third, and Villaroo looks to try and tackle him. The number 8, Masaki Goto, is on the floor now, and both he and Villaroo battling up against the kickboard just inside the offensive third for Japan. And it's now been forced all the way back towards the goal line. The number 8, Goto, for Japan, battling with Arezki, who just keeps the ball in play by a fraction, and that will be a corner.
Yeah, it come off Villaroo's heel then as he tried to scoop it away. Villaroo was in quite close proximity to those two battling away, and he's unfortunately got a touch. But it was a good run from the Japanese earlier on. Then it's left-hand side, yeah. Got it shot away and forced a save from the keeper. So they've started well, Japan.
The number 10, the captain, Kiwamura, looks like the man to take this on here. He's over the ball with Sasaki. Sasaki will lay it off for him to make that sort of arcing run and loop around the D on the edge of the box. It's a ball that's spread out to the left-hand side. Picked up. It's on the edge of the D, right on the attacking third now for Japan. It's held up, though, by the number 8 for France, Vanchi. Japan move into the offensive third, but again it's the French that clear away. Japan, though, the more dominant side so far in this game. Forward it comes once again. Japan move into the French D, but Villaroo brings the ball away. That's looking slightly less mobile today, maybe feeling it a bit in his legs from all the football he's been playing.
Yeah, he has taken a bit of a battering in the previous games, and to be fair, he's been a bit of a marked man in this tournament, and you know he's you know, I'm not saying he's getting on a bit, but he's been around for a while, so those little knocks take a little bit longer to heal up, and he has been a marked man through the tournament. So
Wanshi up against Kiramura, but Kiramura is the man to bring it away up over the halfway line, running at real pace, and he's veered from right to left, and he checks back onto his left foot, making an excellent run here just as he was about to shoot. He's stopped in his tracks by Villaroo.
Yeah, it's a free kick to the Japanese. He's in a good position. A couple of metres outside the penalty area, I think. They look like they're placing it down there. It's about a metre outside the penalty area. To the side a little bit, but good chance.
11 minutes and 37 seconds left on the clock. What can the Japanese do here? Hirabayashi stood over the ball along with Sasaki, right on the edge of the D, just as the ref organises the wall, along with the French goalkeeper Benoit Chevroux. Edges them towards that near post, and he'll be covering the far post, and all of the Japanese players are up here. There's no French attacking players further down the field as well. The French players just protecting their face. I don't think Villaroo wants another whack to the face as he had yesterday. Maybe just feeling that a little bit. Be Hirabayashi to take this one on then, after the touch from Sasaki.
Yeah, you can see the French guy on the end of the wall. He's going to be the one to charge it down. He's in the starting position, and he's a bit upset that the Japanese player's gone in front of him, and he's quite entitled to do that, as long as he's a metre away from the French player.
One foul conceded by the French. The referee will now blow his whistle following the guide's works. And off we go. Hirabayashi does shoot. For a minute I thought that took a deflection. Maybe he just kicked it off his own boot, off his other foot, Hirabayashi. But we're back underway with a goal clearance. It's with the number 8, Wanshi, down that left-hand side, up against the kickball. Moves into the Japanese final third, but he's held up. Good tackling from the Japanese early on in this game. They're keen to keep up the intensity, and Villaroo forced all the way back into his defensive third by the number 8 for Japan, Goto. Goto does well, but it doesn't stop Villaroo sending the ball further upfield towards the number 4 for France, Miguez. Miguez against the kickboard in front of the Japanese bench, but it's won back by Kawamura. Kawamura up over the halfway line into the attacking third. Now it's with the number 6 for Japan. He spreads the play to the right-hand side. Excellent pass from him. Now Goto. He gets goal side initially of Arezki, trying to wrestle the ball back from him, but he's done well to keep hold of it, Goto. Arezki does just enough though, and then Villaroo, no-nonsense stuff, and he's called for a substitution there. I think he's clutching his knee and limping along, Villaroo, but the bench seem undeterred by that message from him.
So, yeah, he's conceded a corner. He's definitely struggling, Villaroo, not moving at all well. The French would be wild to get him off, and he doesn't want any long-term injuries at this stage of his career.
And off go the Japanese. Kawamura tries to steer it goal bound, but his attempts are unsuccessful. It will be a goal clearance. Here is Wanshi. Wanshi down that left-hand side up against the kickboard. Moves into the offensive third, but it's stolen back from him by Goto, and Goto moves over the halfway line, and there's a bit of a wrestle then off the ball between the two number 8s. Goto still going here up against Villaroo. Villaroo not really looking himself so far in this game, but he uses the kickboard to move away from the Japanese player. And it's now back on the near side in the middle third with the number 6 for Japan, Hirabayashi. Hirabayashi trying to move onto his right foot, but he's met by Wanshi. Wanshi battling hard with Kawamura. The two of them trying to wrestle the ball off each other, and I think now to sneak off for a goal clearance, which it does.
Yeah, the French coach is he's not happy about something, and he's barking orders out at his team.
Miguez tries to force a way through. That'll be a corner for the French, much to the frustration of the Japanese number 3, Sasaki, who felt as though he should have kept the ball in play there. Corner on this near side. Miguez and Wanshi are the two players that are over it. Will be left for Wanshi to try that arcing run around the edge of the D, just as the Japanese goalkeeper prepares his wall. The referee waiting for the thumbs up from the guide, which he gets, and Wanshi then just chips it into the D, looking for the number 5, Arezki, but wasn't stirred by the rattle of the ball there as it went past him, and he's forced up against the kickboard, just tucked inside the Japanese defensive third. He's not going anywhere at the moment, pretty much stationary, and then he squeezes it through to Wanshi, but it's picked back up by the Japanese number 8, who looks to break forward, but he's sandwiched by two French players, one of which is Miguez, and Miguez just looks to bulldoze his way through. He does just that. Can he shoot? Didn't get the message, I don't think, there from the guide. So when to go, he was muted, the guide behind the goal. They'll have to settle for a corner.
That was a heck of a block by the Japanese defender, number 3. God, he's taken a blow there. That was... he's done really well to get his leg into that. It's a good run from the French guy. He's gone in, and the number 3's come across, closed the space down, and yeah, he's taken a right whack. Ooh, good tackle, man.
Corner for France, right in front of the main stand. Wanshi, again, one of the players, stood over the ball along with Arezki. Villaroo has stayed back, which is uncommon for him. He's acting on defensive duties. I wonder if that's something to do with the injury, as Miguez goes flying into the tackle. He's obviously suffering with his knees himself. He's heavily strapped. In his fluorescent yellow boots, he's up against the kickboard. He just squeezes it out and finds Arezki. Wanshy and Villaroo are back behind him if he can find them. Gets a cry eventually from Wanshy. Villaroo is behind him, but Wanshy looks to go alone. Moves over the halfway line, twisting, turning, trying to force a way through, but is only tackled by Kawamura. And now the Japanese will look to build again from the back. It's with their number 6, Hirabayashi. He spreads it out to the right-hand side. And that's a good pass. And now there's a big chance on here for the Japanese. Hits the post. Ricochets back inside.
And it's a penalty.
And it's a penalty. I think the goalkeeper again has made a mistake. We've seen so much of that.
Yeah, he's come out the... He must have come out the area. That's the only reason it can be a penalty. And we're looking at it again. And... yeah, he's outside the area. Good spot, referee. That's what we want to see. The referee's on the case. Nice and close to it. No one can argue. So.
Another penalty. 7 minutes and 41 seconds on the clock until half time. So we're about halfway through this first half. And the foul count is up to 2 for France. And it could be Japan that are set to strike first. And this will receive a big old celebration from the bench, I'm sure, plus the Japanese fans that are in the crowd.
It was a great run by the Japanese player. He's picked the ball up outside his third and gone in there at an angle, beating a French lad, and he did really well to get his shot off, and he's obviously forced the keeper to come out of his area. It is a very small box. It's 6 meters by a meter, the goalkeeper's area, for those who haven't seen blind football.
Here we go, and it's in the back of the net. What a fine penalty that is.
Yes.
Hirabayashi, the hero.
That's a good penalty.
And he's small in stature. He can barely get over the kickboard to receive the applause.
And he's put a samurai on him. This is something that the Japanese do. If they get a goal scorer, the samurai goes straight onto the head, and that's their little trophy for scoring a goal. And yeah, it's lovely.
The referee has a big grin on his face. I think even he enjoyed that. The number 10 for Japan, Ryo Kawamura, receiving a bit of treatment. I think he just scuffed his knee slightly, and we're going to see a substitution, the first of the game for the Japanese. Masaki Goto comes on.
It was a superbly taken penalty, though. He drilled it into the keeper's right-hand side, and it sort of... well, it just went past him in a flash, didn't it? It was like he was still waiting for the penalty to be taken, and it was in the back of the net, mate.
Goto comes off, and Kuroda comes on. Tomonari Kuroda, and he's immediately, he's desperate to make an impact straight away. He's been pushed back slightly by the referee, and France will get us back underway with 7 minutes and 41 seconds on the clock. 1-0 to the Japanese. Hirabayashi, the man to bag the goal from that penalty. And eventually the referee's whistles does go, and Wanshy gets us underway. Goes one way and then checks back and goes the other. Here is the substitute straight away into the action. And Hirabayashi trying to catch up with Wanshy there, but he's left him in his wake. He does trap back though, and now the number 9 for France, number 8 for France I should say, Wanshy is pegged back, and it's back in Japanese hands through Hirabayashi. He's chased diligently by Villaroo. Villaroo is impenned in that far corner. Ball hasn't snuck off the pitch though. It's up against the kickboard. It's took back inside by Kiwamura. Kiwamura is tripped, but then it's now back in French hands through the danger man. Villaroo still going here, trying to navigate his way through some Japanese players, but to no avail.
Yeah,
he's all the way back in the French half.
He's hobbling terribly. He's just jogging back into a defensive position, Villaroo.
Off goes Wanshy against the far kickboard in front of the main stand. I think that came off a Japanese player and will be a corner for France. And he is still hobbling, isn't he, Villaroo? But they're determined to keep him on.
I think that's a silly decision. It really is. Now, he must be mid-30s by now. And like, to keep a player on invisibility when he's clearly not right, how do they know what damage they're doing to him? Well, I suppose he wants to play, but...
Here's Wanshi. Tries the shot. Sort of feigns to shoot, and then the ball is peeled away from him by Kiwamura. Kiwamura and the substitute in there working together to try and dig the ball out. Eventually it's Kuroda that gets a toe in, and Kiwamura will bring the ball away. Miguez does his level best to get in the opponent's way, but it's Villaroo eventually that does the defending. He's got rid of that limp momentarily, and the ball is guided off the pitch and will be a goal clearance taken quickly by Chevroux. France trying to find a way back into this game. Off goes Wanshi. Real good close control from him, and he swipes at it and trips the number 3 for Japan, Sasaki, in the process.
Yeah, it's going to be a foul against the Japanese here, I think. I do believe it is going to be the number 3 from Japan. I saw a hand snake out. He was on the floor, and I'm sure his hand came out and grabbed the ball. And I'm pretty sure the Brazilian referee is. Yeah, he has. He's given the free kick to France, which is about right. Nice position.
Certainly is. Dead centre. About 2 metres back from the penalty spot. I shouldn't think the player Wanshi will go for goal straight away, but the guide nonetheless is doing their job behind the goal. Probably choose to just dribble it maybe out to the right slightly and create a bit of an angle before having a strike.
And there's those bells again, 2 minutes at a time, as per usual.
Still not found out why that is the case. Still not quite ready for this free kick. The referee checks with the guide and the goalkeeper, as he always does. And then the tapping will come from the guide now. The French guide does the first post on this near side as we see it, and then moves across to the post nearer the main stand. And there's lots of people lingering around, and maybe a few students and stuff from the university around in the background of the picture there, just peering in at the pitch as to what's going on. And Wanshi takes the ball on, he shoots straight at the wall, then a swipe from a Japanese player, and Wanshi just careers over the top of him. He almost hurdles the player. We have lost a couple of eye masks down there. It's given back to the number 3 for Japan, Sasaki, who will quickly put that back on, but the referee has to keep an eye on play simultaneously. I'm not sure who's lost the other eye mask. He's still got it in his hands though, the referee. Not quite established who it is actually, but the ball is in the French half nonetheless. We resume play as they try to wrestle the ball off each other. And the number 5 for Japan, who's just come on, Kuroda in there. Hirabayashi, the goal scorer, up against Villaroo. I think in fact the referee had dropped his whistle in the process of picking the eye mask up there, but we're back underway, and Villaroo brings the ball away this time. It's intercepted though by Sasaki. Sasaki back towards his own goal line, up against Villaroo, just taps the ball in the end, and that will be a goal clearance for Japan. And a timeout, I believe, is called. It's going to be maybe the substitution, which is set to take place on this near side in front of us at the gazebo end. Just wait to establish who it is, and in the process of doing that, the eye mask of Sasaki will be checked by the referee. It's the number 6, Hirabayashi, the goal scorer, that trudges off. And he will be replaced there. And on goes the number 11, who is Kento Tori. He sort of tentatively moves up towards the halfway line and moves beyond it. And we'll be ready again with 4 minutes and 48 seconds left on the clock for this goal clearance. And off we go. Daisuke Sato sends it out to that right-hand side to his captain Kawamura, who's been full of energy throughout. He looks like a real athlete. His pass forward, though, is missed by everybody and goes out for a goal clearance, which Chevroux picks up. Rolled out to Villaroo, who can build from the back, and he moves up towards his defensive third. He's dispossessed straight away though, and that's a good turn by the substitute Tori here, who will shoot straight in the face, I think, of Chevroux in the goal. It's put over the crossbar, and that will be a corner for the Japanese.
Yeah, I think it's his shoulder. Great bit of skill by the number 11. He's robbed Villaroo of the ball and gone in on goal. It was a good shot. Keeper's made himself big, and I'm pretty sure it's hit him on the shoulder and ballooned over the bar. Here, we'll just watch it again. It's a great bit of skill. Yeah.
Nonetheless, it will be a corner for Japan. 4 minutes 17 seconds remaining of this first half on a bright and breezy day in Birmingham. Japanese are preparing another substitution. They've been rotating their players at will so far in this game. The cross is made, but Kuroda picks it up and it will spill out, and it will be a goal clearance for the French. And the substitution bell blows. And the very animated French head coach is barking orders at his players. He looks a bit frustrated with Wanshi there, who wanders across and looks a bit perplexed. Off goes the number 5 for Japan, Kuroda, who'd come on earlier in the half. And he will be replaced by the man that started the game, Masaki Goto.
Yeah, so we're going to restart with a goal clearance for France. And Villaroo hobbles across the board. Doesn't look right at all.
Maybe his instruction is just to get through until half-time. They've got a full bench of the French, but they're choosing not to use it at the moment. Miguez battling hard with the recent substitute, Tori. Tori keeps him at bay momentarily. It's on the halfway line. Wanshi takes it on though. Real powerful running from him, and he makes it past the second defender. Bit of work to do to keep the attack going. It will be a corner for the French in front of the main stand, just where the kickboard ends.
Yeah, good defensive work by the Japanese number 3 again. He's got across there and nipped it off the toes of the French guy and concedes the corner.
3 minutes 46 left in this encounter. 3-man wall for the Japanese, who are crouched over, look as though they're the front row of a scrum about to settle down in a rugby match. It's cleared away by the Japanese. Villaroo gives chase, just his goalkeeper beyond him, as he faces back towards goal, and then he puts the ball out to this near side, and Miguez picks it up. Lack of communication there from Miguez as he turns and continues his run forward, a touch off balance, and then he swipes at the ball as though he's about to shoot, and then the referee almost collides with Wanshi as Wanshi tries to keep the ball from going out to play, and then it's thrown out by the goalkeeper Sato upfield. A chance here for the Japanese, straight at the goalkeeper in the end. Thought as though it looked as though the goalkeeper was quite far out there, but nothing given by the referee, and Japan come forward again. That's a heavy touch by the captain Kawamura. It's afforded some time for Villaroo to get back goal side, and that's a good tackle from Villaroo, and the French clear through Miguez, back inside the Japanese half, but only just now through the number 3 Sasaki. Sasaki moves over the halfway line, has player options left and right, but chooses to go right and try and find Goto, who's back on the field of play. Big crunching challenge there between the captain for Japan. It's back inside Japanese territory. All 4 Japanese players surround the goal, but it's the ball, I should say, but it's with the number 3 Sasaki. He moves down that right-hand side and checks back inside. He's forced back inside his own half. Kawamura takes it on. He's crunched into by Villaroo, and for a second time up against the kickboard, bang on the halfway line. A tug of the shirt on Villaroo as he tries to advance into the offensive third for France. But Japan dispossess him. End-to-end stuff now, and the captain Kawamura takes it on, a central position, checks onto his left, back onto his right, shoots, hits the post, and it goes out for a goal clearance, which will be taken quickly. Back it goes to Villaroo, which I think he'll probably disagree with. He might fancy a rest with this breathless passage of play. 1 minute 45 left on the clock in this first half. The referee, the third referee, trots down to our near side as Japan looks set to make another substitution, which I'm sure one of the players will be relieved to hear the buzzer go for, given the breathless nature of this game. Picked up now by the number 3 Sasaki. He keeps the ball in play just, and then it sneaks out and will be a corner for the French side.
Oh, and the French are going to make 2 substitutions and 1 substitution for the Japanese. Villaroo definitely did not want that ball from the keeper, did he? You can see his body language is, oh, don't give it to me, I'm tired. And the keeper just rolled it out to him.
He just signalled to the bench there as if to say, I am done in this game.
But, one of the commentators last week said to me, stick a fork in it, he's done.
And here is that chance. Kiwamura with the effort on goal off the outside of the upright. We're going to have to wait for these substitutions. The referee wants to get this play underway. Wanshi will be the player again to take it on. Diakite and Baron are due to come on. Off they go. We'll have to wait for this substitute. Will they be done before half-time? Just over a minute left on the clock of normal time. Villaroo will be begging the referee to stop play and let the substitutes take place. But he's going to have to get through this passage of play now, as Wanshi is battling hard there with Kiwamura. It's out to this near side in front of the benches and the operational staff and the referees here at the University of Birmingham that are putting on the blind football for us. I hope you're enjoying the coverage wherever you are watching. Maybe you're in Japan or France watching our coverage today. The weather's not usually like this, I must admit. We've not had a decent summer of weather, so don't be fooled by the glorious sunshine we currently have. Kiwamura takes it forward, but he's tackled robustly down there. 30 seconds left of normal time. It's poked back through to the number 11, Kento Tori, has a go at goal and will have a goal clearance. And 23 seconds now left on the clock. And it sort of seems a bit pointless to be making these changes now, but they will be done nonetheless.
Yeah, well, they've been waiting for about a minute and a half to come on, haven't they? But, they're going ahead. Number 8 for France is going off. He's one of them one's going off.
Wanshi makes
number 4,
way.
Villaroo staying on.
Miguez and Wanshi make way. Villaroo stays on. They're running him into the ground, I think. Diakite will be the player to come on. Diakite Tiadine and Martin Baron as well. And then the change is confirmed for Japan as well. Number 6 back on, Hirabayashi, the scorer of the goal. And the number 11, Kento Tori as well. Just shy of 23 seconds left on the clock. 1-0 to Japan, thanks to that Hirabayashi penalty. A very convincing penalty as well. Villaroo with a pretty lifeless pass out to the near side. And straight into the action is the number 11, Diakite Tidiane. Tucked back inside to Villaroo, who falls to the ground. He might want to just stay there until the buzzer goes, and there it eventually does go. And then we have the half-time whistle here for this second fixture to decide who faces Iran in the 5th place game tomorrow afternoon. The score at half-time, it's Japan 1, France 0.
It's fast, technical and tense. This is your guide to five-a-side football. There are 5 players per team, 4 outfield players and a goalkeeper. The aim of the sport is to score a goal by kicking the ball into your opponent's goal, and at the end of the game, whoever scored the most wins. Players must wear eye shades to ensure that all players have the same level of vision. That is apart from the goalkeepers, who aren't required to wear eye shades and can be fully sighted. Their job is to keep the ball from going in the goal behind them. But how do the players on the field know where the ball, or indeed the goal, is? Well, the ball in blind football is specially designed to make sound whenever it moves. Also, each team has a guide behind the opposition goal to help direct them. Each player is required to shout "Voy" when going for the ball. This ensures every player has the cues they need to help build a picture of what's going on and what to do next in defence or attack. To help this, total silence is required from the crowd until a goal goes in. Voy is Spanish for go, and it was the Spanish who were credited with originally developing blind football in the 1920s. As well as the Paralympics, teams from all corners of the world can compete at World, European, Asian, African and America's Championships, as well as a World Grand Prix.
Blind football can be played by both men and women, with the historic first Women's World Championships coming up in 2023.
So what are you waiting for? Give it a try.
IBSA, International Blind Sports Federation, presents, with the support of the International Paralympic Committee, IBSA Anti-Doping App, the first application of its kind in the Paralympic movement, specifically designed for blind and visually impaired people. Athletes, coaches, medical staff, managers, and the public in general now have a powerful tool to stay focused on the principles of clean sport. Scrolling down the main menu, you can find all the important themes you need to know to play fair and be alert to testing procedures and necessary adaptations for athletes with visual impairments. IBSA gives top priority to anti-doping control, being the only international federation with 3 sports in the Paralympic family: goalball, football, and judo. IBSA Anti-Doping App has external links, namely to WADA, where our sport agents can always find the most updated information, especially the list of prohibited substances and methods. Glory in sport can only be achieved by the athlete's awareness of their rights and responsibilities. You can find them on the IBSA Anti-Doping App. IBSA is continuously promoting anti-doping education to all its affiliate athletes and sport agents, not only about the consequences of the use of doping and the risk of using supplements. IBSA believes that education is the major tool to fight doping in sport. Informed athletes can make better decisions. Download the app now at the usual operating system stores.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have seen history being made today.
Such a great team at these championships.
IBSA. Beyond sight. Feel the sport.
Welcome back to the World Games, the IBSA World Games, and the men's blind football. France versus Japan. Japan in the lead as it stands for a place in that 5th place game tomorrow afternoon against the Iranians, who ran over Italy in the end through penalties. We're back in action shortly. There's been a change in goal for the French. Benoit Chevroux has been replaced by Bartolomucci, as they like to do. Every game involving France so far, they've switched the goalkeeper at half-time. And still no rest for Villaroo. We've been watching him during the half-time interval at Dixie. They've been spraying him with something or other.
It was probably Chanel number 5. They've been working on him all half-time. And he's just prior to him going back out, he went for a little jog. He come back, he said, "Yep, I'm fine. Get me on that." So
they'll have to drag him off if he does come off, I think. I think he's determined to stay on.
He's a braver man than me. My word, he's taken a bit of a battering here.
Certainly has. Right, we're up and running again. France get things moving through Martin Baron. He's pushed up against the kickboard just outside the offensive third, and he lays it off to Villaroo, who's moving a little bit more freely now, having had a bit of a rest and some magic spray. Here's the number 11 for France, Diakite. He's pushed into that far corner, and it will be a goal clearance for the Japanese. The Japanese goalkeeper Sato looking for options but not finding them. Eventually it does sneak all the way through to Hirabayashi. He's forced back upfield. Hirabayashi still in possession now though, bang on the halfway line, looking to penetrate into that French half, but it's peeled away from him by Baron. Baron still in possession, doing really well, but kicked the ball out towards the coaching staff, and there was no French player there. Villaroo does give chase. Hirabayashi is the man closest to it again for Japan, just outside their defensive third. The Japanese goes all the way out. In the end, it will be a goal clearance for Japan. It's launched upfield, dead centre, stuck all the way through. Chance here for Japan. Can they strike? No, it's picked away from the foot of the Japanese player Goto by the goalkeeper Bartolomucci. And there's been an infringement as well, and it will be a free kick for France.
Yeah, there's a coming together there. Japanese player just barged into him, knocked him to the floor. So, then the said Japanese player who'd retreated 5 yards, the French player just walked straight into him and gave him a bit back.
Goal clearance for Japan. It's flung out to the kickboard side in front of the main stand, and well collected by the Japanese player, the number 6 again, who's been involved in all the action, Hirabayashi. Of course, the scorer of the penalty that the solitary goal that separates the two teams. And the two teams, this game has been played with good nature. It's been a tough tackling affair. We've had lots of substitutes for the Japanese, and that's a big coming together there, and a bit of an accidental stamp as well from Villaroo, who pleads his innocence with the referee.
Oh, he's taken a right clatter in there against the boards. My word, he'll do well to get up from this. He's still down at the moment. The referee's over there asking the question. He's struggling to get up to his feet.
The number 8 for Japan is struggling as well. The physio has actually been called on. I think he's got a facial injury.
Yeah, he's gone on to the number 8 who stood up in the middle of the goal. But there's a poor lad.
He's thinking, where's my attention, as the physio wanders off with the number 8. Masaki Goto. It's the captain, Ryo Kiwamura, that's still on his backside at the moment, waiting for some treatment. Confirmation, though, of the substitution for Japan. Goto, the player, to give way through injury by the looks of things, and he will be replaced by the number 5, Kuroda. And here is the incident again involving Villaroo. He just nips past him. That's a big barge initially, and then he gets a foot in the chest for good measure, just to follow through with as well. But free kick nonetheless for
he's up on his feet.
the Japanese. He's back on his feet, slightly winded and wounded. Silence called by the referee. Sounding like a headmaster at school.
Well, he used to be a police sergeant.
Well, there you go. He's used to these. I'm not sure much phases him in that case.
No.
Right on the line of the offensive third for Japan. Hirabayashi and Goto are the players over it. Poised are the number 3 Sasaki in more of a defensive position. And the number 5, who's just come on, Kuroda, is just snuck into the D. And the guy just taps the posts, ready for this free kick to be taken. 13 minutes left on the clock. Japan still lead. Off goes the free kick and a shot from range off the face. The player that's just gone off with a bloody nose, I think. So hopefully he'll be reintroduced shortly for Japan. Here is Diakite Tidiane. Flings it out to Baron. Baron facing back towards goal. Squares it across to Tidiane again, who is supported by Villaroo, who, again, as I say, is moving a bit more mobile. Appears to be a bit more mobile, I should say, in this second half. But the Japanese push back into their own half through the captain, who sends it out to the far side. Hirabayashi was there waiting patiently. He's forced back towards his own goal, and that will be a goal clearance. I'm not sure whether it's a timeout that's been called, but the referee behind the hoarding there, behind the kickboard, is called for the referee to come over.
Right. Yeah, the third referee's not happy with someone.
He's just checking Hirabayashi's eye mask, I think. I think that was the message. I think the third referee there was in conversation, actually, with the coach in the middle third. Smiles all round, so everybody's ready to continue. It's rolled out by Bartolomucci in the French goal, up towards Villaroo. He's in more of a defensive position this time. He's got his back to goal. He's forced back towards the edge of his own D. And a flailing attempt to put the tackle in from Kuroda comes in, and the ball goes upfield to the halfway line, where Wanshi will pick it up inside his own half, and it's a lovely, powerful turn from him. He sighs between two defenders, but then loses his footing. Bit of good fortune at the back from the Japanese. Japan player forced back towards his own goal, and again there's that sort of stalemate by the corner flag, and then it's launched across the park, and it will be picked up by Baron, who moves into the D here, still going Baron, and that will be a corner for the French side.
Yeah, it was a good run by the 6 there. He's picked it up and powered into the box and forced the Japanese to give him a corner.
It's going to be Baron then, and he's joined by the number 5, Orezki, to take this corner on the near side. 11 minutes 37 seconds remaining for France to find a way back into this game. But I think I get the impression, Dixie, you're hoping for a Japanese outcome for this game. You'd like to see them maybe contesting that spot, the 5th place spot tomorrow against Iran, as there'll be a bit more on the line then.
Yeah, this is nothing against the French at all. But the French have already qualified, being the host for the Paralympics. So if Japan can get there to this game tomorrow, we've got 2 teams in that game tomorrow who can both qualify. So it's going to make it a much more interesting game if you've got 2 teams fighting to get to Paris. That's in my opinion. So there was a foul there by a Japanese player. So the French got a free kick just on the line of their defensive third.
Orezki takes it on, he thumps it upfield, and that will go the whole way through for a goal clearance for Japan. As we approach the 4-minute mark, Villaroo tackling up against Kuroda. Kuroda wins the ball though inside the offensive third. Poked back to the number 3 for Japan, who is Sasaki. It's a bit further up the field this time, and it's prodded away altogether, and now Baron will look to break. Good attack from Baron here, twisting and turning between his 2 feet. That's a big collision there between Baron and Sasaki and Hirabayashi there. But bravely, they're all back to their feet, and we'll have a goal clearance. It's flung out to the right-hand side for the Japanese, and that'll go all the way for a goal clearance for the French. And Bartolomucci will pick it up and just drops it into the path of Orezki. Orezki takes it forward, and that's an excellent pass out to Baron up over the halfway line. Baron will now look to break down the left-hand side. No foul as he runs over the top of Kawamura. Baron now onto the edge of the D, more central, and flicks it into the path of Tiadine. All the way back to Orezki in the end. He might look to go back to his goalkeeper. Bit of an awkward moment as all the players come together, but Orezki holding firm, holding off the advances for the number 3 for Japan. Villaroo tries to clear, but it's not made much progress up the pitch, and Orezki is pushed back up against the kickboard. It's poked away by the Japanese player, and that will be a goal clearance. And it will be a substitution now for the Japanese. It looks as though the number 8 for them is ready to come back on, Goto, and he will replace the number 5, Kuroda.
Yeah, it was fine play by the Japanese number 3. He went into one tackle in his own half, then went into another one, and into another one. And he ended up right at the other end of the pitch, battling away with the French player on the goal line there. So he's done a good bit of work for his team as the clock ticks down to just over 9.5 minutes to go.
Off goes Orezki again. More central position, just taking his time to bring the ball forward, but his pass is an unfortunate one in that it meets the substitute Goto straight away. Still going here, Goto. Wonderful run from him. Will he shoot? He does. Just wide of the post. But he had Bartolomucci flailing down to his right-hand side.
Yeah, it was a tremendous run. And he's just not got his bearings quite right. And we've had a bit of a coming together here.
Guess who's in the wars once more, and he slaps the ground in frustration, Villaroo.
It was a complete accident. Villaroo's not happy. It was just a coming together between two players who were quite entitled to move around the pitch. It looks like Villaroo's hurt his shoulder or his neck. Japanese player's up, he's a bit winded. Of course, Villaroo doesn't want the physio to come on, because if the physio comes on, he's got to go off.
Will he dust himself off here, Villaroo? It looks as though he will do. He's received a bit of a pat on the back from his goalkeeper, Bartolomucci, and he's back to his feet, stretching things out, and he's just going to get his bearings again before we get back underway. We're going to see another Japanese substitution. They really are shuffling the pack today where possible. The number 3 for Japan comes off, Sasaki, and on comes the number 7, Tanaka. Villaroo will have the bounce ball here, and despite his protest, he might show some fair play here and send it back the opposite direction. I'm not sure what will happen here necessarily, but the referee will push the Japanese number 8, Goto, a bit further back.
I don't think he will. I think he'll play. I think he'll play this. He was in possession of the ball, mind, so yeah, he is playing it.
Forward it goes, it misses everybody, and that will go out for a goal clearance for Japan.
Well, he'll say he was playing fair play then, won't
yeah,
he?
Absolutely. Again, the goal clearance misses everybody, and will be a goal clearance for France. Bartolomucci not missing much in terms of the action. Tiadine picks the ball up inside his own half, spreads the play out to the left-hand side. A powerful pass from him. Kiwamura picks it up inside his own half, but he's dispossessed, and it's a wonderful effort on goal by Baron. Forces a decent stop from Daisuke Sato in the Japanese goal, who then rolls out, and the keeper's just keeping the score as it is at the moment. Lovely run now from Hirabayashi, I should say, onto the edge of the D, moves into the D, aims to shoot, but he's blocked by a wall of dark blue, and off goes Villaroo now. This is more like Villaroo. We're used to seeing him on these marauding runs forward, but it's stopped by the Japanese, still with Villaroo. Now Japan looking for a way out, and they move it into the middle third, nearer the kickboard in front of the referees. Baron is back on defensive duty this time. Villaroo as well is having a much better second half, is Villaroo, as we enter the final 8 minutes of this game. Off goes Tidiane. Tidiane checks back inside. Really powerful run from him. It will trickle into his path. Can he get the shot away? And it's just looped up over the bar. And that'll be a corner for the French.
That's a good save by the Japanese keeper. He spread his body. He was very brave there. And the French guys, he's drilled it against his body and it's looped up over the bar. As you say, Toby, nice and brave.
Well, this game has been played at such a pace. We had a 10-minute delay after the first match. It might be that this one ends up sort of finishing on time. 7 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, but of course, full penalties. The French can find an equaliser. It's 2 fouls against the Japanese at this stage, 1 foul against the French. Neat bit of footwork there from Arezki, and then Baron tries to take it on. Japan tried to clear the ball away.
That's a corner.
And that will be another corner for the French.
Yeah, the French coach is urging his players on. He's not giving it up yet, and Villarou's certainly not giving it up. He's still on there. I'm just amazed how he's still standing upright.
Yeah, at the moment he's stood on the edge of the centre circle. He's not really committing himself too far forward, Villarou. He's acting more as a sweeper in this second half. 7 minutes and 30 seconds left, halfway through the second half, as the referee blows his whistle. Off goes Baron, and an arcing run, but it will trickle all the way through, following an attempted shot through to the goalkeeper Sato, who rolls upfield straight away, and there's a bit of a collision of legs there, but nothing wrongdoing. Villarou will now bring it away against the kickboard on that right-hand side. Excellent run from Villarou in his fluorescent yellow boots, up over the attacking third into Japanese territory. Checks back, wrestles the ball away from his marker, but the ball is off into sort of no man's land, and Hirabayashi eventually locates it with his face to goal. Tidiane wins it back though, right on the edge of the D in a central position. Can't unleash the shot, and Japan have the ball back, and that's a hefty old clash between the kickboard there and Tanaka, the substitute. The top of the headboard, the kickboard I should say, was at head height, so hopefully that didn't wound him too much. Japan look to come forward through the substitute Tanaka. Tanaka is dispossessed by Tidiane. Tidiane in between a melee of Japanese players, and there's lots of shouting going on the pitch as they try to organise themselves. And now Japan come away through the number 10 and the captain Kawamura. Kawamura into the offensive third for the Japanese. He's had the ball wrestled away from him by Arezki, who looks to force the issue as the French go in search of an equaliser. Off goes Villarou into the Japanese half. He runs through the Japanese defender, has his hands out in front of him. Now Villarou. Villarou looks to get beyond the defender again, to no avail. Now Japan will come away with it once more. Excellent defensive work from the Japanese as they hold on to this fragile lead. Goto, the number 8, up against the kickboard, keeping the ball in the French half, just outside the defensive third for France, and eventually the whistle does go with 5.5 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, that was a rash challenge by the Japanese number 8. He charged after that one and absolutely flattened the French lad. He's prone on the floor, not moving much. Yeah, and the referees are calling for the physio. So, well, when you're ready, pal. Oh, here he comes.
He's never been the quickest, the French physio.
No, I don't think he watches. I don't think he watches the game. He had to be told then. And the coach turned around and said, "Well, are you going to go on or what?"
Which is always helpful when you haven't seen the collision either. Give you a bit of
heads up on what's injured.
Exactly.
Yeah, so he's on there now, having a look at the. I can't see which French player it is, but he took an almighty blow from the Japanese lad. And
Tidiane is a player that's gone down, and in replacement of him, Khalifa Yume is set to come on. Just checking his eye mask.
Yes, he can't enter the field till the injured player has come off. The physio's having another word with the big number 5 to make sure he's okay.
Confirmation there then of the substitution. Khalifa Yume will be the one to come on as Tidiane is led off with his hand on the shoulder of the physio.
Where's Villaroo at the moment? Oh, there he is.
He's still going. He hasn't missed a minute yet of this game.
He's just wandered into the picture, and he's going to assist in this restart of a free kick to the French team. Referee's all ready. And yeah, he's just checking, making sure everyone's okay. Right, we're off. With
Villaroo then.
5.5 minutes to go.
And Arezki just thumps the ball forward, looking for the substitute Yume, who's in an advanced position upfield. But he has his pockets picked again by a very cunning Japanese player, who then plays it back to the goalkeeper. Good back pass from him. He had his bearings mapped out perfectly there on the pitch. Here's Kiwamura. He sweeps the play out to the left-hand side. And it's picked up by the number 6 for Japan. Good bit of skill initially from him, but he has the ball peeled away from him, Hirabayashi, by Villaroo.
Yeah, there was a little foul there by the Japanese player on Villaroo. The referee's taking it back to the halfway line. I think it was a bit of a shove or something going on there.
Inside the final 5 minutes then of this game. And that is the signal that Japan have picked up 4 fouls now.
Yes, they've got a problem now, haven't they? Because Villaroo on penalties is
ruthless.
Yeah, he's quite the penalty taker. They won't take him off now, that's for sure.
Arezki spreads it out to Baron, who's been a top performer since he's come onto the field of play. Now it's with Yume. Yume with a clear view on goal, but he can't quite find the strike there, and the ball is cleared upfield by the Japanese. Into the attacking third for Japan now. If Goto can bring the ball under control just in the nick of time, keeps it in play. Still going with Goto. That was right in the nick of time. The ball was literally on the line itself. Now it's with the number 10 for Japan, Kiwamura. Pops out though to Arezki, the French defender. He's tucked inside his own half, about a metre before the goal line. Still going here, Arezki takes it over the goal line. It will be a corner for the Japanese with just over 4 minutes remaining.
Yeah, the Japanese player on this right-hand side, very honest then. He had the tap, he definitely clipped on his feet. And he stayed upright and, yeah, we played on. We've seen players go down for a lot less than that. That was the corner to Japan, out on the stand side.
The 2 players over it down there, Hirabayashi and Kawamura, the 2 mainstays of this Japanese team. Villaroo and Baron form a wall. Here is Hirabayashi trying to orchestrate a bit of space to turn around and head up the other way. Bit of confusion at the back. Could be a chance for France. Straight into the arms of the goalkeeper in a late collision there involving Khalifa Yume. And there's a yellow card for Yume for his troubles. And it will be a...
That's very dangerous, isn't it? He's gone headlong into the keeper there. He had no hope of getting that ball. And he's gone with both feet. And if it hadn't been for the keeper being quick on his toes and jumping up in the air, he would have been well clattered. So we're ready to start with free kick to Japan.
Yume is swaying back and forth as though nothing has happened, following his yellow card to match his fluorescent yellow boots. Squeezed all the way through to a Japanese player, and that's well picked up on this near side. But Villaroo has found the loose ball now, as Hirabayashi didn't initially control it, but he's won it back off Villaroo. Those 2 battling really well down that right-hand side in front of the main stand. Kiwamura picks it up in the middle of the park, and he'll look to break now. He's one-on-one with the final defender, Arezki. Can he make it beyond him? He does. He's got a view on goal, and that's a wonderful finish, and the Japanese probably have just won it there. He's nutmegged the goalkeeper, Bartolomucci, who shakes his head, furious that he's let that one past him. And Japan have a 2-goal advantage, and this is a bit of a rarity. All of the games we've seen over the last couple of days,
been tight,
we'll see the replay again, have been so tight, and now we have a 2-goal advantage.
Yeah, a little bit of luck on the edge of the box, but he's absolutely smashed it with his left foot, and the keeper can't get his legs together quick enough, and it's gone right underneath him and right through him. He's going to be disappointed with that when he sees it on the telly. And yeah, that should, you would think, do Japan now. They haven't been too stretched at the back there, really. And perhaps they'll push Villaroo up front now. Possibly.
Another substitution for the Japanese. Probably a defensive one, I'd imagine, just as I've spotted the Colombians warming up ahead of their semi-final.
Oh, that's going to be a good game, isn't it? I just love the way Colombia play. They're a cracking team.
Hirabayashi comes off for Japan. He's replaced by the number 11, Tori. Not long to go in this one, just over 3 minutes. I anticipate that the next game will kick off on time, given we've made up a bit of time, well, providing nothing out of the ordinary happens in the remaining 3 minutes of this game, as Yume sends it to the left to Villaroo. Villaroo is tackled by 3 Japanese players that swarm around him. He's got Yume for support, and Yume is found, but he's also found by 2 very tough tackling Japanese players, Kawamura and the number 8, Goto. Goto relinquishes responsibility to Kiwamura. And the ball is out on that right-hand side. It's still in the offensive third for France as they look to halve the deficit. Here is Villaroo now. Villaroo and the number 7 for Japan coming together almost like wrestlers there. Tanaka spilled out as far as Baron, who picks it up in the middle third of the pitch. Still going here, Baron, who checks back inside and heads straight towards Villaroo, and it's now with Yume inside the offensive third for France. Villaroo again, he shoots at goal, and it's gone all the way across the face of it and out for a goal clearance for the Japanese. They'll be in no real hurry here. Just over 2 minutes remaining. Flung upfield, up towards Goto, who can just wait for that to carry all the way through to his feet. Unchallenged initially, but then Aretsky joins the scene. Still going here, the Japanese forward. He's flattened by Yume, who has to be careful. It's gone through to Bartolomucci. It will be a goal clearance. Nothing wrong in that as far as the referee is concerned. That's come off a Japan player, and a second Japan player. He almost keeps it in play, but it does eventually go out for a corner for the French with 1 minute and 45 left on the clock.
There was a couple of rash challenges up this end then, wasn't there? My word. French were treading a very thin line there. So we got 1 minute 46 seconds. French got a corner. The Japanese goals never really looked particularly threatened. They've managed the game very well.
Yume and Baron over this one. It will be Baron to take it on. Just tries to steer the ball back towards Yume, who would run away from him. Villaroo still on the pitch. He's set to see out the rest of this game by the looks of things. 90 seconds left. A rash attempt at clearing the ball for the number 11 for Japan, Tori. Tori could be through on goal here. Can he steer it goal bound? He's pushed further wide by Villaroo. Delicately so, up against the kickboard now, about 5 yards away from the goal line, right in front of us at the gazebo end. Villaroo gets his body between the player and the ball and will build from the back. Moves out of his own D. Checks back inside. Lovely footwork from Villaroo. The Villaroo that we saw earlier in this competition could be through on goal now. Just as he looks to swipe, he clashes with the Japanese player and lets out an almighty roar. I think he may be injured again. But he's going to gradually get back to his feet. The referee hasn't blown his whistle yet as the Japanese player kicks long. Goto now through one-on-one with Arezki, but Arezki intervenes and wins back possession. He lumps it upfield. 36 seconds left here. Villaroo has made his way over to the kickboard and he's moving very, very gingerly. And now the Japanese will look to close out these final 30 seconds or so. The ball is sent up long towards Goto. Goto up against Zarezki. Goto twists back in the other direction, and we'll just look to keep the ball moving now as we head back into the final 15 seconds. Now there's 11, 12, 10 seconds, I say, left on the clock. Goto still just 5 yards out. He's keeping the ball moving. He'll just wind the clock down here.
He's done well
right
there.
up to the final whistle. And there goes the hooter. And the full-time whistle blows. An excellent victory for the Japanese, and the fans in the crowd go wild. And the French goalkeeper doesn't look particularly happy with himself. And that is the final score then in the final game before the semi-finals here. The Japanese set up a fixture tomorrow with Iran for the 5th place game. The final score, Japan 2, France 0.